Hey everybody and welcome to this video. I'm Laura123 and this is going to be my August reading wrap up. So basically I'm going to be telling you what books I read in the month of August and what I thought about them and what they're about, that kind of thing. So hopefully you will enjoy this video, and if you do, please click like and comment and please subscribe to my channel. Also, I'm going to be doing a giveaway at the end of the kind of wrap up. I'm going to be giving away a book that I read this month that I really loved, so you will want to win this book. Trust me, it is great, but you have to keep watching to find out how you can win. And by the way, last month's contest was won by a viewer called Esther, so congratulations Esther. I have contacted you to say you've won, so please get in touch with me and give me all your details and stuff so I can send your prizes, and well done to you for winning. Okay, so let's get on with the wrap up. I've got all my notes here on my phone because there's no way I'd remember each book I read and what I thought about them, etc. So I do have to have my notes. I read a lot of books this month. Can I just say, well done to myself, because I read a total of 19 books. 19 books in a month. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty happy with that. So the first book I read, by the way, these reviews I've kind of like made really short and quick because otherwise I'll just ramble on for like hours. You don't want that. I don't want that. So these are like literally mini reviews, okay? So yeah, first one was When the Curtain Falls by Carrie Hope Fletcher. And I gave that book 3 stars, okay? That was my rating out of 5, 3 stars. So it was a sweet book, but it could have been better. So basically there's 2 different stories that kind of intertwine and connect. All the characters kind of all come together in the end in a kind of roundabout way. So it all surrounds the theatre scene, and I wish there would have been more spooky stuff as it was set around this like haunted theatre. But there wasn't really that much scary stuff going on. There's like a few little things, but not much. I think there could have been more scary stuff. And also the writing felt a little bit immature in some ways because it was supposed to be an adult fiction, but at times it felt like a little bit of a young adult. And some of the way that the characters spoke was a little bit annoying and a bit like childish for the age that they were supposed to be. I don't know, but it was okay. It was a sweet read. It wasn't anything amazing, but it wasn't bad either. It was just okay. Next book I read was a little quick read of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, also Jill Taverner. So it's basically a little quick read, which is like the kids version of the adult book. And I just fancied, sometimes I have a little quick read and I just fancied a little quick read. So this was the kids version of the story. It was really cute and there was some beautiful illustrations in it. But most of the story was left out. So, because I've seen the film and stuff like that, and I've read the book like years and years and years and years ago. But yeah, most of it was kind of left out. But I mean, it was a kid's book, or, you know, just to introduce people to these kind of stories. So it was good for what it was. And as I say, the illustrations were really cute. But yeah, most of it was kind of left out, and it just took me like half an hour to read. It was just a little quick read in between books that I just wanted to get through. So I only gave that like 3 stars. So anyway, moving on. The next book I read was called A Sky Painted Gold. That was by Laura Wood. Great name, the author, Laura. Anyway, so I gave that book 4 stars. So it was sweet, romantic, mysterious, and an elegant read. So it's set in Cornwall, and it's about this loner. She's a lovely, sweet girl, but she hasn't really got anyone around her, so she kind of just hangs out on her own in this empty old abandoned mansion house. But then the owners come back as she's introduced to a whole new glamorous lifestyle and parties and romance, but there are also dark secrets within the family and stuff. So it was really good. Like, it was okay. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but it was still pretty good. Like, I give it 4 stars, so it was pretty good. Next up, I read a book by Donna Kuna called Screenshot. So this book I gave 3.5 stars to. I always take the halves, very important when doing ratings, because sometimes it's not good enough to be like a 4, but it also is not good enough just to be a 3. You know what I mean? Like in the middle of... Anyway, so yeah, 3.5 stars. Be careful what you put online, because once it's there, even if it's after it's been deleted, it can still affect people's lives. So this is about a character called Sky, and she's had this embarrassing video of her uploaded to social media, and she kind of starts getting blackmailed by someone about the video, and there's friendship, romance, social media. It's a good book. Like, it wasn't amazing, but it was quite good, and I am fascinated by all things social media, and like, yeah, you have got to be careful what you put online, because it can come back and bite you on the ass. So yeah, it was okay. I did prefer the other book I read from Donna Kuna, which I can't think of the name of it now, but it was much better than that one, but this was okay. Next book I read was called My Favourite Manson Girl by Alison, I think it's Uminga or Uminga, I don't know. I gave it 3 stars. So I got this book as it was supposed to be similar to a book that I loved by Emma Cline called The Girls, but I have to say, I preferred this book. I preferred The Girls far better than this book. Even though, like, on Goodreads and stuff and reviews, people do prefer this one, but I 100% preferred The Girls. I thought it was far better. So this is about a character called Anna, and she runs away from a stressy family home situation that she shares with her mum, and she goes to stay with her sister, who is this like struggling actress in LA. While she's there, she gets a job doing research on the Manson murders, especially the girls involved with it. So it was a bit of a creepy book, but I don't know, it just kind of lacks something for me, and I just didn't really like the characters. And for me, if I'm reading a book, I need to like the characters, I need to care about them, and when I don't give a about them, I'm just like, eh. And I just didn't think it was as good as I thought it was going to be. So next up, I read a really sweet, charming book called The Mermaid by Christina Henry. I gave this book 4 stars. It's a sweet mermaid. She falls in love with this guy, and he's a fisherman, and they get married, live a normal life. Ish, because she's a mermaid, he's a human, but normal-ish life. Then her husband goes missing at sea, and she sets off for a new life, and she ends up working at P.T. Barnum's museum and travelling circus. So I love all things circus, and yeah, mermaids is a good combination. Sweet book, very magical and sweet and charming, and yeah, I really liked it. Next book I read was Girl in the Window by Penny Jolson. I gave this book 3 stars. So yeah, I honestly thought this book was going to go a different direction than it did. But anyway, so due to Kezia having ME, she can't get out of her house, and she kind of just sits at the window a lot and kind of, just watches life go by without her doing anything, but one night she witnesses a woman being dragged into a car, and she kind of gets like obsessed with this, and she thinks that this woman's been kidnapped. They contact her, and her family contact the police. The police kind of look into it, but draw blanks and just be like, I think your daughter's imagining it, there's nothing wrong, blah blah blah. But there's also this mysterious girl who Kezia sees in the window opposite her, and she believes that she saw the incident too. But when the police go and knock there to question this girl, apparently there is no girl. So it kind of took me down the road that it was going to be spooky. Without giving any spoilers away, it wasn't spooky, basically. So all I can say was it was a good book, took a whole new direction, which was cool. But I definitely preferred I Have No Secrets, which was Penny Jolson's previous book. I love that. It was absolutely blooming amazing. This one, it was okay. So the next book I read was, I haven't wrote down the author, so I'm sorry about that. But the book was called The Strange and Deadly Portraits of Bryony Gray. And I gave this book 4 stars. So it was cute, it was creepy, kind of Tim Burton style. So this is a modern twist on Dorian Gray, and it's funny, it's scary, there's some great characters, and it's all about this kind of artwork coming to life and attacking people. This kind of scary picture, and very weird, very spooky, but really good fun. Loving the characters. 4 stars for that. Yeah, I like that. Next up, I read a wonderful book which has become like such an important thing in my life at the moment. I'm obsessed with all things to do with it. So it's called To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. You've probably heard of it. It's quite a big thing at the moment. So yeah, 5 stars for this book. I love this book. So Laura Jean is adorable. She's the main character. But I also loved her little sister Kitty. I thought Kitty was so just awesome. I loved Kitty. So yeah, basically Laura Jean writes private letters to boys that she's loved. And then she hides the letters in a hat box in her room. But her naughty, cheeky little sister, who I love, Kitty, finds them, and she starts like posting out the letters to all these boys that she'd wrote to secretly. And then all the guys kind of find out what happened. There's lots of drama, and there's also a fake relationship with a guy called Peter, who is the most adorable character. I love his character. I'm definitely Team Peter, by the way. And also, it's a film on Netflix now, so people who haven't read the book are kind of getting on board on the hype of it because they've watched the film, which is cool. And I watched the film and I love the film, but I still think, you know, the book's better. I love the film, like, don't get me wrong, it was amazing, like, proper amazing. But the books, I don't know, books are always going to win for me. But, yeah, it was really, really good. Really, 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 really good. Really good. 5 out of 5. Next up, I read a book called The Life and Death Parade by Eliza Wass. Beautiful book cover. I was drawn in by the book cover, I ain't gonna lie, but 2.5 stars for this book, which was not a good score for me as a review. So this book drew me in, as I say, from the cover. The cover was great. It started off really cool and spooky and really well wrote, but then it just got really weird and silly, and it just didn't make sense to me at times. So it's about this girl called Kitty, and her boyfriend goes to a psychic, right? So he gets told he's going to die, and then he does die. She then meets this weird dude who tells her he can communicate with the dead, and ends up becoming closer to Kitty and her boyfriend's family. But he's not all he seems. It was just really weird. Like, it just, like, some parts of it felt like it was set in olden times. Some parts of it was set in modern times. So I don't really know. I just don't know. I don't understand it. I just didn't like it at all. I kind of read it at the end because I just wasn't feeling it at all. But it did have a really pretty cover, so there we go. Next up, I went back to the series. So I read number 2 by Jenny Han. This is P.S. I Still Love You. And this book I gave 4 stars. So it was good, but not as good as number 1. So this is number 2 in the trilogy. I won't say too much in case you haven't read number 1. But yeah, basically more dramas, more emotions with a dear Lara Jean song. So can a girl be in love with 2 guys at the same time? You have to read the book to find out. But yeah, I did enjoy it, but not as good as number 1. And then I went straight on to number 3, the last in the series, which was called Always and Forever, Lara Jean. I gave that book 5 stars. That was good. I do always find, though, in trilogies, number 2, not always, but mostly, number 2, like in the middle, is always a bit not as good as, you know, the beginning and the end. It's kind of like a filler to get to the end bit, do you know what I mean? Anyway, but yeah, so this book, I love this. Nice closure to the series. Didn't want it to end. I didn't. I really cried when I finished that book. I actually cried because I was like, oh, I kind of miss her now. You know, all the family and her and Peter and all gone. But yeah, she has big choices to make regarding her future and her romance and friendships. And yeah, it's really good. Really good series. I thoroughly enjoyed that series. Next up was an audiobook. So now and again, I do listen to an audiobook. This one was called Margot and Me by Juno Dawson. And normally, I quite like Juno Dawson books. I really do. But this one, I just did not like it at all. I had to stop listening to it. So basically, the person who was reading the book, right, so I don't mean to be disrespectful here, so I'm sorry in advance, but the person who was reading this book on the audiobook had the most irritating voice. Not only is her own voice was she irritating for me, but she also was trying to do like accents for the characters, which was also very annoying. So if maybe if I'd have read the book, it might have been different, but the voice was irritating me. But the actual story also was very boring for me, just really annoying. It was quite triggering for me as well, because one of the things that they're living on a farm and they start talking about like killing the animals, which obviously I didn't like, being a vegetarian. Also a little bit of a trigger because the main character's called Fliss, and her mum is basically going through healing after having cancer, and she's gone there to kind of live with her mum, and she'll try and heal and relax and rest on this farm. So because my mum and dad have had cancer and stuff, I always feel like books or TV shows or anything with cancer, it always kind of triggers me and makes me anxious and quite sad. So that's just a personal thing, you know. But I just didn't like the story. I didn't like the character of the Nan. I found her to be quite irritating. Maybe later on the book she gets softer, but I just couldn't bear it, so I stopped listening to it. Okay, next up was a beautiful, amazing, awesome book by the one and only Victoria Schwab, who happens to be one of my favourite authors of all time. Can't wait for Vengeful. This month I'm going to get Vengeful. The day it comes out, I'm going to be at Waterstones. It's basically Vicious 2. It's number 2 to Vicious, which I loved. So yeah, the book I read was called City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. I gave it 5 stars. So I love this book. I was really excited for it and I wasn't disappointed because it was really, really good. It's about a girl named Cassidy, whom, can I just add, I loved her character. She was great. And her parents are famous for their research on all things like paranormal and stuff. So Cassidy is the one that can see the ghosts. Like, her parents just research it and tell stories and stuff, but she can see ghosts. In fact, her best friend is a ghost. So they go to Scotland to film this new TV show, and there Cassidy has some ghostly encounters and makes new friends. It's really good. I love like the whole kind of Edinburgh vibe, like getting to find out about different places in Edinburgh in Scotland that were quite spooky, and I just love the whole thing. And it's going to be a series apparently, so number 2, I'm going to read that definitely. Okay, number 15, I read a book called Secrets of a Sun King by Emma Carroll. So I gave this book 5 stars. Oh yeah, so I really love this book. It's actually Waterstones Children's Book of the Month. So this was the first book that I'd read by this author, and now I love this book. I've gone and ordered a few more from the library that she's done because that's the kind of person I am. So it's all kind of set in 1922 in Egypt. So the tomb of a long-dead pharaoh is about to be discovered, and 13-year-old Lillian, who I loved, watches the news eagerly. So her granddad was an explorer, and he loved like collecting all things Egyptian, and he like tell us stories about his like exploring days and stuff like that. So he was into it, she was into it, and he gets really ill, and then Lillian is at his house feeding his cat, and her granddad receives this mysterious package which she opens, and it's got this artifact in it which is cursed. So this book is about curses, Egypt, friendship. There's historical facts in it as well as obviously the fictional side of it. Great adventure, great book, and it definitely deserves to be book of the month. I loved it in Waterstones children's section. And do you know what, I'm an adult, but I read kids books sometimes, and it's all good. Like, honestly, it's a great book. Next up, I read The Power by Naomi Alderman. This book got me. I've literally always heard about this book since it come out. Hype, hype, hype. You've got to read The Power. You've got to read The Power. I was like, So I had it on my bookcase for ages. And it was my TBR jar selection. Nathan, my lovely fiance, chose it for me out of my little TBR jar to read. And yeah, did it live up to the hype? Not for me. I did give it 3 stars because I think it was different. I think it was well wrote, and it was just a really interesting concept, and it was different than I'd ever read, but I don't know. So I wanted to know if like the hype was real, because there's so much hype. I mean, look, it was, as I say, really well wrote, and it was just a bit weird. Like, it's kind of set in the future where women pretty much are in control of everything, and they have this power of like electrocuting people. And it's kind of like a feminist book, but with a kind of deadly electronic kind of I'm gonna kill you kind of twist. I like the kind of feminism when like how can I word this? I like it when feminists are like, you know, equality and stuff. Like, obviously I think women should work and we should have the same rights and stuff, but taking it to a level of like such man-hating, I found this book to be like making men seem bad and nasty, and they're not always bad and nasty. And I don't know, I just think it was a bit too much. It was a bit too weird for me, I'm afraid. I don't know. I've got a book similar to read this month called Vox, which I'm definitely going to read this month. So I think that's kind of along the same lines-ish. I don't know. That's what I've heard. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Hopefully that's better. Next up is, oh my God, this book touched me so much. So it's called The Keeper of the Lost Things by Ruth Hogan. 5 stars for this book. A delightful, beautiful book. I absolutely loved it. I read it all over a weekend. I literally got it done. Super amazing, and I just adored every page. So over the years, Anthony Perdue collects lost things that he finds, like buttons, puzzles, like wherever he's out and about, on the street, on a train, he just finds stuff, he collects it. And he's even got someone's ashes in a biscuit tin. So after he passes away, Laura, his assistant, good name, so, is left his house and also the mission of reuniting all these lost things with their owners. This story was so thought-provoking and so touching and beautiful. There was a bit of romance and friendship and just, it was just amazing. It was so good. And it actually made me cry. Like, I literally cried like a baby. And it was so emotional. It was beautiful. The ending was so touching and I loved it. 100% loved it. Next book I read was India Dark by Kirsty Murphy. I gave this book 4 stars. This was a book that I was just in the library one day. I'd never heard of it. I think it came out quite a while ago. And I was just drawn to it. I was looking through the books on the shelf and I was drawn to this book. It had a beautiful purple and yellow cover and it looked kind of circusy. I don't know. I was drawn to it. So it's set in 1910 where there's a group of child performers and they travel around in like this kind of singing and dancing thing, and they have to deal with like horrible abuse and bullying from their manager, and some of the other staff that kind of look after them aren't that nice to them either, and that results in this big scandal. There's friendship, there's scandal. It's a very dark book, but it's very interesting. So yeah. Something at the end annoyed me. Yeah, something at the end of the story, which I'm not going to obviously ruin as a spoiler, but something happened at the end and I was like, oh, what? That really annoyed me, because I actually would have given that book a 4.5, 5 out of 5 stars. But because that thing at the end, I brought it down a little bit in my review. Oh yeah. Anyway, and the last book I read in the month of August is an amazing book called That's Not What Happened by Kody Keplinger. I think that's how you say her name. So I gave this book 4.5 stars. There was a school shooting, okay, and students and teachers unfortunately died. And basically this book tells the story of what happened from different characters' viewpoints. And it's very thought-provoking, very sad, obviously, very powerful book, very sweet in ways as well. And it is interesting because, you know, when all these horrible school shooting things happen, it's all on the news and everywhere, but then after all the cameras have gone, the journalists have kind of gone away, you know, this book kind of shows what happens to people who, you know, their lives carry on, you know, after they've been affected. You know, they've lost people, or maybe they're still alive but they've witnessed some horrible things happening, and it's just a really thought-provoking book. And also, you know, the way that certain people are portrayed in the media, like some of the students and things, you get to see another side of what really happened and what they're about. It was a really, really good book. And in fact, it's such a good book. That is the book I'm giving away this month. It's literally just come out really recently. So this is like hot property that I'm offering out here. So here is the book. It's a lovely cover, I think. I love the locker. This is different than the American cover. This is our English cover. I know the American cover looks different. So yeah, it's called That's Not What Happened, and she's the author who wrote The Duff, which I loved. The Duff. It was a great film. The book was okay, but I loved the film. That was in that situation I did prefer the film than the book, but normally I prefer the book than the film. Anyway, so yeah, this is the author that wrote The Duff. She's also wrote these books here, Run and Lying Out Loud, which I actually picked up in a charity shop the other day, so that's cool. I've got that to read by her as well. So yeah, really, really interesting, thought-provoking, sad but sweet, and just amazing book this. So if you'd like to win with a chance of winning this book, which is hot property, just come out, all you've got to do is put the word enter down below in the comments section, so I know you are entering for this month's contest. I mean, you can put anything else in the comments as well, but as long as you've got that one word of enter, I'll know that you would like to be entered in for a chance to win this book. So you can enter wherever you are in the world. It's a worldwide contest. Doesn't matter where you are, you can you know, be in the chance of winning it. There is just one more rule. I know there has to be rules in life, but the rule is that you do have to be a subscriber of my channel to enter to win the book. So all you got to do, click that red subscribe button here on my vlog channel, Minxlaura123's Wacky World. So if you're a subscriber and you put the word enter in the comments section, you could be in with a chance of winning. So you've got a month from today. I'll put the closing date down below in the description box so you can see when it is. And I will obviously let you know if you have won. So yeah, you could be winning this. It's obviously in very good condition because I've only literally just read this a few days ago, finished it. So it's in good tip-top condition. Oh yeah. And yeah, it's just really cool. And it's like there's lots of like there's letters and stuff like that, and the characters write letters and stuff, and it's a really, really good book. But obviously if you do find the subject of like school shootings and things triggering, like if that's not your thing and it's going to upset you and make you, you know, not good, then do not enter, because this, you know, there is a lot about, obviously it's not just about the shooting, it's about what happens afterwards, but they do talk about and mention in detail to a degree the shooting and stuff. So it's not obviously for you, don't enter. But if this is your kind of book, trust me, it's really good. Good luck to you if you are entering the contest. Okay, so that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I just want to show this little sign here that I picked up from Poundland a while ago because I really like this sign. It says, "Some days you just have to create your own sunshine." Just a nice positive message at the end of the video. By the way, I just want to say, people ask me, am I a booktuber? I'm kind of like a part-time booktuber. This is my vlog channel. I do all different sorts of videos on here, you know, shopping hauls, come shopping with me, challenges, story times, but I do also do a lot of book reviews and, book related videos like book reviews, book hauls, my wrap up every month, you know, so I'm kind of a part-time booktuber. I love watching other booktubers because, you know, I'm a bookworm, so I love watching videos where people talk about books and are passionate about reading. So there we go. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Please click like, comment, subscribe. Good luck to all of you that enter the contest. And what else? I can take my glasses off now. What else? Oh yeah, all down below are the links to my social media, so come and check me out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Goodreads as well. I love a bit of Goodreads. And if you want to email me, it's minkslaura123@gmail.com. And if you would like to give me a donation, a kind, sweet donation, please feel free. My PayPal link is down below as well. So that is it. I'm going to shut up now. And thanks for watching. Take care. If you're a fellow bookworm, happy reading. Take care. Bye.